Hello guys, my name is Nate Safix, and today we have another video, and this time it is another session of the Gosu Academy. Today what we'll be doing is some kind of mixed tips and tricks. I think we'll keep it mostly to CT tips and tricks, because recently we did a CT tips and tricks video on Mirage, Anubis, and Ancient. Today I want to do some CT tips and tricks on Dust 2, Nuke, and Inferno. But on Dust 2, since there have been recent changes, I want to show you a couple things. As the map is kind of new with open skyboxes, it's recently added to CS2. I'm learning new things every day, and so I do have some T tips and tricks I want to show for you also on Dust 2. So that's why we're starting out here. Let me lower my volume slightly, and as I'm doing that, just remember, if you would like to get multiple coaching lessons in a week and also be able to join the academy and, you know, ask your own questions and help me pick topics for my sessions, you can do so by clicking the link down in the description. It's a sort of 1 month trial, in the sense that if you don't like it here, you can ask for your money back, and it's like a money back guarantee. But yeah, link is in the description if you would like to learn more. So going into this too, I think I'll start with the T-sided tricks that I have learned, because I've definitely learned some cool things. One of them is there's kind of two different ways of doing it. Actually, let me start a little bit different. When I went through Dust 2 earlier in a session, I talked about how the pros generally took long in the CSGO version of Dust 2. And also, I assumed that this was going to be the same case in CS2. I would say for the most part, if CTs want to fight for long, it is the same. And that will be either by a CT going out with the Molotov and Molotoving the doors, or they will be doing the Molotov and going back immediately. So basically, it's always the intent of the CTs to Molotov inside the doors. And the reason is that you don't want a T who is inside these doors and who likely won't get blind by flashbangs to be sitting here with an AWP and killing the first CT who is running out. Wait. Or sitting here with an AK. Oh, sorry, I'm not streaming on Discord.
Yeah.
Yes, I realized it when you said it. Okay, there we go.
It's fine, don't worry, it's fine.
Perfect. So, you also don't want an AK to be sitting here in the opening of the door, because it's just a super hard angle to clear. As CT, when you swing out with the flash, like you go out, and typically you will be focusing on this area. So if someone is inside the door, you maybe won't even really be paying attention to them. And that is something we can abuse as a T, because with how smokes and Molotovs work together in CS2, I think a lot of people know it, but let's say there is a Molotov here. I will always be able to smoke and play the edge of the smoke and the Molotov, and I will never be taking any damage. Even though it looks like I'm standing in the fire, I can stand and actually have a lot of vision because my feet are covered by the smoke. It is pretty broken, and I would say most definitely a bug that I hope that they fix. But at the moment, there is an easy counter to the CT Molotov, and that is when you're coming here, you can bounce with a right mouse button click, so like an underhand throw. You can bounce it off this box, and it will turn off the Molotov. So let me actually join T-side real quick, because then we can get the proper Molotov. And actually, I guess the CTs would be the ones doing the CT Molotov, but just for the sake of simplicity, if there's a Molotov here, I can come and I can do this. And this smoke will make it so even though the fire is burning, I can actually see out long. And if I can't see, I can shoot the smoke like this, and I can still actually see. Another way of doing this is just as you're coming into Longhouse, you can just basically throw a smoke that bounces down here. It will land roughly in the same area, but it will be able to be thrown a little bit further back. And definitely play around with sort of the timing of when to throw this. Like maybe you want to throw it even earlier. But basically this smoke will just nullify any CT Molotov, because I think this one is it was a little bit bad. But if there is a CT Molotov here, I can always edge and I can hold this. And it's extremely hard to play against a CT, because typically, I talked about also this in the last Dust 2 video, but the first flash from CTs will typically be thrown like this, which will blind you if you're holding from here. But the second flash is typically in the back, and so it lands somewhere in this area, and will not blind you if you're inside the longhouse. So that is why that is a really cool trick. Another cool trick that is super simple is as you're running over here, you can kind of make an imaginary square. And if you aim in the middle and a little bit up, as you're running and jumping over, you can do a jump throw. And this is like a super simple way of smoking the B doors, basically. In a way where it's basically impossible for you to do anything as CT. There are also lineups for other things, like I saw this one earlier. You can line up here, and you can aim, I believe, here, and take like one step, basically. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is actually so weird.
Do you move with W or D here?
Yeah, I move with W.
I see.
It should be something like this. Let me see if it lands. Okay, so it's supposed to land here. I think it's a little bit. I think there's a better lineup. Like you can for sure go here and find a better lineup. Maybe something like this. I'm not sure. It's still sort of for me a work in progress, but yeah, there are different smokes you can do. There are even some teams that have a smoke that lands here from spawn. I don't know the exact lineup, but I'm just sharing with you the idea. This smoke is good to know as well for your solo queue games. If you crouch and you go in the middle of this line and you aim on this darker dot, you do a normal jump throw, this should be a mid smoke that should fill up the doors with enough height that you can use it to take short, basically. And that's also very, very nice. Another thing that I think is really underrated is these new boxes where you can boost yourself up on short. I think a lot of people will either be doing it that they jump up on this and jump up on this, where you are like visible in the moment that you jump. Some people will also jump up like this and jump up like this, where you're also visible as you're jumping up here. It's like you're very visible, especially to people on short. And there will also be people who do like a jump and like try to do something like this. But if you have good movement and you know how to do a high jump, which is basically instead of jumping and then crouching, you actually crouch and then jump. With this, you can jump from this box and up to the tallest box in one jump. And what's good about this is that if I try to jump up like this, I'm not accurate in the time that I'm flying in the air here, basically. But if you go into the box and you do this high jump technique, then you instantly stick onto like the box and you can just peek. Or you can do it with your back and you can instantly peek. Like you're instantly accurate. So this is like a super cool trick. If you want to try it out, I suggest you go on an offline server, practice this. Again, to make a jump that is slightly taller, if I jump first and then crouch, I won't make it up. But if I crouch and in the middle of my crouch I jump, you get a little bit of extra height, and it's enough
or
to like.
Maybe if you use like crouch, like jump throw bind, like jump. I mean crouch jump bind. I mean like there's a bind for that, and you're jumping immediately like higher.
Yeah, I guess that one. If you have that bind, you can do that as
I'm
well.
now testing it, and now it's like consistent with that bind, but without it, it's like inconsistent.
Okay, for me it's consistent without bind as well. I don't have this bind. It's only not working because the game is bugged and it's throwing me off the box. But in terms of getting the height, I'm getting it every time. So it is consistent without a bind. This one is not that tricky. It requires maybe a little bit of practice.
But just if you like move and not stop, because you won't have the speed for it.
What do you mean?
I mean, if you were to like try to jump up without any movement, like you stuck there and you just jump, it's not working.
It is for me.
Like closely, like that. Yeah, if you're close. Oh, okay. Never mind.
It works. It's just about timing the crowd. But yeah, for the cross smoke, you can go in and just like go into the CT blue and you just aim in the corner here, basically. This is like the new cross smoke, and it's super simple to throw, and it fills up all of the cross. So it's really, really nice to be able to throw this because A, it's super safe doing it from here. 2, it's super fast, and also you only need 1 smoke for the cross. So that's really good. Also, I had a teammate today, like someone on my team, who said that they were doing the Molotov for car like this, that they would jump up here, and then they would aim top of this and do a normal jump throw. And this will make it so the corner will burn, but people can sit behind the car and hide. And so I suggest instead aim at the top of the door handle and do a W jump throw. This one will land so it takes the corner, but it will also take behind the car. So if they want to sit where they don't get hit by the Molotov, they have to sit right here. And that actually makes it so, because they're taking steps back, you can jump and you can see if they're sitting behind the car. You don't need a boost or anything, you just jump and check it. So if you want to do the car Molotov, always do this Molotov instead of the other one. Heavily recommended by me. I've shown this before, but someone showed me a new lineup for it. So if you go into the handle of the coffee cup and you aim in the middle of this and you do normal jump throw, this one goes over and it burns up and down. That's also a very neat lineup. Also, just for people who are maybe new to CS2, because this was a pretty meta smoke back in CSGO, but if you go in the middle of this and you aim up from this, it's kind of unfeeling. I hope I don't fail it now. You can make a crosshair that is like the correct height, but if you throw this correctly, it goes down and it blocks off all of CT. And I think one of my last tricks that I have on T-side is you can crouch in this corner. You can see like this is pretty wide, this is wide, this is wide, so it's the skinny plank. And next to this one, there is this line. If you go kind of in the middle of the line and you do a crouch jump throw, this one goes up and it lands on top of the box. I messed that up. I actually don't really know what I did wrong. Let me see if it's better this time. No. Okay, I guess I'm messing something up. It needs to be more to the right. I think between this line and this side, maybe. Let me see. I literally saw someone throw this line up today, so I maybe I'm aiming too high. And now it worked. You can play around with it, I think. I mean, I guess I just aimed a little too high. But basically, what's so smart about this one is that it lands on top of the box. Now I failed it again. What?
Like it covers the whole city base.
Yes.
And even that little gap that you have to boost on city.
It doesn't really cover the gap, actually. The guys on this boost can still see, but they can't see window.
Yeah, but I mean like the other one.
Oh, like here you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there really is a gap here in CS2, actually. If you smoke a normal B-split smoke, I can try it. I think there won't be really a gap. Okay, there is actually a gap. Okay, you're right. But yeah, definitely, like, I think this is a super good lineup. Because exactly it makes it so when the CTs are rotating in, they can't see the door at all. And it's tough to move through it. Like, you can move through it kind of on this side. But if you have someone standing and holding this, it's really difficult for the CTs to get out. And I don't know if there's a good lineup for this, because I don't think so. But back in CSGO, I would just do it with a flash. I believe you could aim like this. Up like that. Maybe like that. Yes, something like this. And basically the smoke would get stuck here. But the problem with this is that if you land the smoke here, which was how you did it in CSGO, it will leave a pretty considerable gap. So, yeah, I'm just mentioning this in case people try this lineup, but it's also kind of to say, I haven't really done the research for it myself, but I am positive that there is some kind of lineup you can throw that lands here. Like, there will always be something. Maybe I can actually give myself a decoy grenade and I can just test with my with my feelings here. Like, I think you can potentially do an underhand jump throw, maybe, or otherwise a double click throw, maybe. I think also you could probably do a double click throw like really high up, but I'm not sure if it'll bounce high enough. But I'm sure there is something you could do. Like, I mean, this would feel really stupid to be out mid and doing like a smoke like this, right? That would bounce up. But I'm sure there is something. Like, there's always something. There's always some way you can make a grenade land where you want. Like, maybe instead you have to go here and do something like this. I don't know. I'm just saying. Actually, I think this could potentially work. Feels really close, actually. I don't... Maybe it's not possible. Probably it isn't. Oh, well.
You can try like to aim at the floor. Like bounce it off the floor and jump it. Like jump at the same time.
I don't think that will do anything good, actually. Like, it will not get any height. But I'm sure there is a lineup. Like, there will always be some kind of a lineup. It's just more the case of what is smart. And here, there isn't a whole lot of things that are smart. So, yeah, I suggest doing the lineup from out here. I don't know this lineup either, but I know there is a lineup in CSGO. I would do it like this, I think. It's quite close, like where you can stand in this white spot and you can aim like... which way would it have to be? I guess this way. But something like this. And you would be even able to do the smoke from short. But again, this is also like kind of niche. I think if you're standing in front of this and you aim up in the corner of this and you do double click throw. That was supposed to work better. Can I... Oh, this is maybe smart. Maybe it's the wrong corner I'm aiming at. 2 seconds, guys. It's crazy that I don't know these lineups when I literally saw them today. Maybe it's at the top. That probably makes sense. Okay, so what it's supposed to do is...
Like a waterfall, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's like a waterfall smoke. Like, it's supposed to land here. I'm not sure if I can even get it to do it now. Okay. I wish that my binds hadn't been... does anyone know the... There's something like... there's some command where you delete the smoke grenades. Anyway, you can get a smoke that lands somewhere here, and it will go down like a waterfall, like this one, the second one did, where it actually blocks off all of mid, like you can see it here. Actually, I'm not even sure if this one did it. Either way, there is a lineup. I'm sorry for failing it, but it is something like this. It must be something with how I'm positioning myself instead of something that I'm aiming wrong, I think. Yes. Oh yeah, I have one more tip as well. And this one I definitely know the lineup for. So, if you want to clear close mid, what some people did in CSGO was they would go here, and I think they would aim like here or something. And the Molotov would go down behind the door. But what could sometimes happen was that it didn't burn this corner. And so a really easy lineup is just go in here, you see this line. Middle of the line, run, and release. And this one will always take both sides. So you can hear if someone is there, you can use the Molotov to push them back. And then if you hear them falling back, you can spam this. And this will be the lane that they typically run away from. So that is super nice. Yeah, I think that is kind of what I have. I don't know the lineup for this one either, actually, but I just want to show that you can from here throw a smoke that lands like this. I've seen one of the top faceit grinders throw it. I think it even lands a bit more left, but the idea of it is it's kind of a mixture between a lurk smoke and yeah, it's kind of a lurk smoke, but it doesn't give you that much space. But the idea is you can walk through it and you can walk to car. And for CT, it's pretty difficult to defend. Because you either have to decide if you want to block like the left side or the right side, and it's actually a pretty cool smoke. So I wanted you guys to know that one. Oh yeah, I saw this today, which I thought was really cool. If you go here and you aim on the shadow and you do jump throw, you have like a perfect door smoke. And what's smart about this is you can do it from a place where you're safe from window. So it's very consistent, you can't really fade it. And from the same position, I think you can do a double click jump throw Molotov on the corner of this box. And with this you have like the full combo. I think this is a really, really cool combo that is very good to know. Especially if you're an AWP player who tends to end backplat a lot. It's a super, super good combo to do. And I have one last thing I want to mention. It's kind of weird. It's a work in progress for me personally. But if you have a smoke that lands here, you make it so the CT on top of this barrel can't see anything. And if you throw it correct, this was like kind of just thrown on the ground. But if you throw it correct, there isn't a gap on this side either. And so the CT actually can't see if anyone is going out behind blue, or how many are going behind this smoke. And the reason why this is pretty smart is because it puts a lot of pressure on the long player, but also it is typically the case that when CTs fight heavy for long, they will be using all their Molotovs, so they won't really have any Molotovs left to defend with. And I don't know, I just found this lineup today, that you can do it from here. I think you put your crosshair a little bit out from this, and you do, you do W jump throw. And this one goes over and it bounces on top of this. And it lands right around where we would want it. And, yeah, sorry, I think, let me try it one more time, because I think if I aim a little closer to the lamp, it will be better. The only issue with this one is I wish it would land a little further towards long, basically. But if I threw it correctly, it should block off both sides. Like, someone would be able to cross behind blue now, and I as a CT, I would not be able to tell. Maybe sometimes, but now definitely not. And I wouldn't be able to play on top of the barrel to get info. So it's like a lurk smoke that you can use as T. That will deny the CTs on long from having info. And this can be used to fake, but it can also be used to actually go long with. This is obviously a lineup from B, but I'm sure there are lineups. I haven't really tested it that much, but I'm sure there is a super simple lineup from, yeah, honestly probably from here as well. Or here. Like, there will definitely be... I don't think a standing throw will be enough, maybe? It's quite close, but it isn't quite enough. But I'm sure there are, like, lineups maybe on this leaf and jump throw or something like this, where it hits the back wall and comes back out or something. Again, not something I've tested yet, but I want to show this anyway, so that if people want to, like, be the ones to invent the wheel, then here's the chance. I don't know. I think at least this tactic with the lurk smoke has some promise. Okay, that was a lot of talk about those two T-side tricks. For CT-side, I don't have an extreme amount of tips and tricks, but I will show you what I have. So I showed already it's possible to do the Molotov on long by kind of aiming to the side and just holding W and A. And if you get good at doing this, you can get a very consistent Molotov. What the hell happened there? But, like, you know, I can scramble basically my view angle, and I can do this quite consistently. And getting the Molotov to land inside the door is really important as CT. In CSGO, it was even sometimes kind of meta to go and aim, I think, right around here and do like a jump throw slow walk Molotov. It is pretty difficult to land consistently, especially in like the heat of battle. But if you got really good at this, you could kind of do like a long, like a one-man long take. obviously now, if people start using this smoke on you a lot, this Molotov will have less of a use. I saw this smoke as well. If you go here, I believe you can aim. Is it like this? Maybe someone else knows it as well. Let me just double check here. This was not quite it. I've never thrown this smoke before. Maybe it's in the middle of the pipe, but it's super cool smoke because it lands in a...
the Nico smoke. Yeah, you have to go like wait, how do I
Is it
explain
here?
this? Yeah. There.
Yeah, okay. Perfect. Yeah, I knew it was something to do with the pipe. So basically now it should hit the back, and then it lands here. And it fills out all of Longhouse. It becomes super tall. And it's a smoke. It's probably not a smoke you would throw to take long for yourself, but you can throw this for a... You can throw this for a teammate, and you would be able to jump short and play from there. So, like, yeah, that's what's pretty cool about this smoke. It helps your teammate take long, basically, because now the T-side can't really do this trick with smoking off inside Longhouse. It won't help them, and your CT player can just come and do like blue molo and do just a random flash, and then you have at least a chance to fight. So I think that's a pretty cool trick. Yeah, I think for short, I don't really know any new tricks. I guess just for defending short, this is a surprisingly good angle. Like, it is kind of annoying if the T peeks you like this, because it feels like the T will definitely have advantage. But some people still do play with the lurk smoke here to go out from short. And if this happens, it's so delicious to just play like an angle around the smoke. So the T's, they will have to move out here, and then they get killed from here. I've done this a lot in FACE, and it works like a charm. So I would definitely recommend you guys try that one out. Also for retakes, this is a really good position actually to be in. Like, you can hold this, and you can stand up and hold when they come up ramp in a pretty unique angle. So yeah, that's also worth trying. For mid, I think my biggest tip, or even I would say as an A rotation, if you have an HE, or if your teammates are good at dropping extra HEs in spawn, this kind of HE is really, really strong. I can land it even a little bit better. But like this. So right when people are jumping up Xbox, or if they're walking short here, they get naded. This is one of the really high, sort of consistent damage dealing nades if you know the T's are starting to work short control. For playing mid, I think this is not done nearly enough by the B rotation, but this angle is super good, and I think it's extremely good because when people jump up here and they jump up here, you will actually see their shadow before you see them. So if you stand at an angle like this, or even like this, when they jump up, you will see their shadow, and then when they jump fully up, you can kill them here, and then you can just jump back. And it's almost impossible for anyone to trade you. It's a super good position. And I even sometimes play this position. It's kind of the same. You can go a bit on an angle if you want, or you can have the shadow advantage. And you will have a lot of good duels here. Sometimes it will even be the AWP who is down mid, and then eventually he wants to work short, and he will jump up here. Also, one more trick. If you're crouched and you do like... If you scroll a lot on your mouse, you can actually... if you do it right, you can... Whoa, I got bugged there. You can, like, basically stick onto the wood and stick onto the box if you do it right.
You can also jump from the side, I think. Like, is it still working?
Yeah, this one?
Yep.
Yeah, you can. But this is just... A lot of bad players will, like, jump up like this and jump... Okay, actually...
Oh, yeah.
Okay, maybe you have to... No, I swear you don't have to stand up, huh? But standing up seems to work really well. Either way, it's just the idea that you can jump up. I think you should crouch. But you can move forward into this, and you can like kind of just spam your scroll wheel a little bit. And you will like super quickly latch onto it. Because what sometimes people did before was that they would like jump up like this. And then you can actually die from short, and the short guy will see you. But if you go like this, the short guy can't see you, you can just peek up. It's a little movement trick that is super neat. For B, I guess my main tip... So, well, my main tip for playing B overall is Molotov before you go into B, basically. This Molotov is super key for blocking a B rush, and it's basically a Molotov you want to be throwing every single round where you think there's a possibility that the T's could rush B. And it's that sentence that I think is really important. It's something I've only started thinking about recently, and I actually don't understand how it took me this long. But if you see an AWP who is boosted here, or if you see someone running down mid, actually, never mind, just forget what I said about running down mid, because I think I'll confuse some people. But if you see an AWP being boosted here, or if you see just in general an AWP here, it might be worth it for you to not use your Molotov. And the idea there is, especially if an AWP is boosted, they will never rush B with 3 guys and also boost the AWP here. So this is a round where you can actually save your Molotov just from the fact that no one is hopefully stupid enough to boost the AWP and also rush with 3B. And it's a really small detail, but it's these kind of things that can, you know, make you into a much stronger B player, for example. Like the small intricacies of Counter-Strike. How do I know when to use my utility? When should I not use my utility? Here is a trip, like a trick or a tip that became trip. If you cross and you see the AWP is boosted, or if the AWP shoots, maybe it's worth it for you to not use your Molotov, because the chances are they're not going to rush without their AWP. And a lot, like some teams will rush without the AWP, but then typically the AWP will be doing other things, like doing Xbox smoke, or will be, you know, coming and doing the B-door smoke and then taking control of, like, holding dark or whatever, or will be coming out. But yeah, it's just actually a really nice tip. And then I guess another tip as well, if you ever want to push B, it's possible for you to kind of throw like a fake Molotov. And it sounds a little bit like it lands the same area, but you can use this to push. And if you as a T don't pay like perfect attention, it can sound very much like the Molotov landed right here in the middle of the tunnel. And yeah, that's a cool tip you can use as well, because it can be good to do that you do this fake Molotov, and then you run with it here while you have 2 people pushing from lower, for example. That's a really good fast upper dark split. Yeah, there are definitely more tips and tricks I can give you guys, because I can talk about any map for a very, very long time. But I think these are some of the newer tips and tricks that I think are very, very important for people to learn. I will show one last thing, and that is if you go here, and I think just kind of you're at the top of the stair, if you aim here at the top left of the white and you do double your jump throw, I think this should be kind of a perfect cross smoke. I think even maybe you don't need to be that high up, like maybe even just in the middle of the stairs. Double your jump throw, and like even this will be fine, but if you go a little bit more in the middle, you will have one that doesn't extend as far out. It didn't actually really make that big of a difference. But this is a really nice lineup to be able to throw as AWP. It looks like top of the stairs was actually the thing. Basically here, double your jump throw on the top left of the white, and hopefully you have a smoke that blooms and will block off this as well, so you can cross safely. And then I think from here as well, after throwing the smoke, I don't know the lineup exactly, but there is a lineup where you can Molotov behind the side. Pretty close to what I just did. You can try it yourself, and it's possible for you to like throw flashes for your teammates as well. So that is pretty cool. Yeah, I guess those were the tricks I had to show for those 2. Any questions, guys? Okay, perfect. Then I will move on into the next map. I know one of you said that you would like to see some nuke tips and tricks, so I think let's do that. Because this is definitely a map where I have a ton of tips and tricks.
Like the one that I really want to know is that when T-side are pushing, they are throwing like a nade on single door, I think,
Yeah.
and they are throwing flashes. How like where do you like have to throw your heat?
So this is actually kind of interesting, because there is more to it than you think. The lineup that people do is just in CS:GO. There used to be an A right here, so people just do this. And what is something I think a lot of people don't know is that if you throw the HE in this corner and it blows up the door, the vent is not broken.
I see.
But if you throw it on that imaginary A, which isn't there anymore, but used to be, the nade will bounce, like here, bounce off the door and land here. And what's different about this is it will always blow the vent as well. So it's a way
That's a
of...
paper rush.
Yeah, exactly. And it also is great if you have someone doing the lurk smoke. I know Spawn 3 has like a lineup here where... yeah, I don't claim to know it, guys. But it's something like this. Maybe it is something I know. It was pretty close. I think I just needed a little bit more gas. I also am probably not standing in the right spot. But let me just try. This might fail, actually. No, it... Okay, so kind of like this. But imagine that it lands here instead. You can do the like vent lurk smoke from spawn.
Oh, so it's between vent and door?
Yes. And it's from somewhere here, and then the idea is you aim up on the line, and you run until, like, a certain spot. I don't really know where it is, but at least you hit the top, I think, a little bit, and then it will bounce down and it will land here. And then if you have someone else coming and doing the nade like that, it's, like, kind of possible to, you know, go down vent very quickly without being spotted, unless the CTs do a good job of blocking it, but... It's worth knowing that when you blow the door, it actually makes a difference how you blow the door, because if you want the vent to be broken so that the CTs are worried that you are down in vent, then you have to throw it like in between this and this, like that. So it bounces off the door and it blows the vent. But if, let's say, you don't really plan to put pressure on vent, then you probably just want to throw the HE over here, because then the vent doesn't blow, and then for the CT to be able to use the vent for rotations, they have to shoot the vent, basically. So that's...
Yep, and they make sound and you can get info, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's something that's pretty cool. Doing some CT tips and tricks. I'll just start from ramp here. I think maybe with the new Molotov, it's possible to throw a Molotov all the way in the corner. And I think it doesn't even have to be so precise, but where you can actually push around the Molotov. And I think maybe it even works multiple places. Let me check. No. Okay, so it needs to be all the way in the corner for it to actually work. But at least if you want to do a fast ramp push, you can do a Molotov here and you can push. And yeah, I think that's a pretty cool trick. I have another trick. If you run and you hold double click and you aim here and you hit this wall, you can do it like kind of on feeling, but it will sound a little bit like a normal ramp smoke, but you can push in front of it. And for the T's, they will hear a ramp smoke and they might even see it, but you will be able to like use it a little bit to your advantage and peek. And if you don't see anyone here, you can like keep searching angles. It's a kind of cool trick, I think. There is this thing called, well, I call it teasers. So, I call this position teasers actually. I call this teasers. So basically what it is you leave a mini gap here. Basically a pixel. And some people choose to do it that they look to the left so that their head is looking away from the gap. That way, if someone peeks in this tiny angle, that's the only way they'll be able to see me. And for them to headshot me, well, that's basically impossible because my head is looking away. what's so smart about this is that people will do this, and when they see something move in a pixel, they will do like a smoke like this, high. And now, this is a way that is useful on some maps where you can play with your utility in a way where you wait until the information comes in, basically. And that's something that is really, really cool to do on ramp. Let me see if I have any other good tips. I don't think I have any that are super strong.
Can you like show me a smoke from city to outside?
Yes, I will go through, like, I think I will start with ramp, and then I will move, like, to the left and do, but yeah, actually I can show you. So, like, you mean a CT?
Yep.
Yeah, so what you just do is, I like to go left side of this box, and I just aim, like, up here, while I run, and then I aim for this blue box. And you want the smoke to bounce first. And then you have, like, a smoke that does a lot of cover. But there are some teams, at least in CSGO, that did it. I think maybe it's like this. And that way you can do it with a more set lineup. So you can go in front of here. And then you can see there are these dots. You can aim here. I think it's like the second dot. And then you can throw a smoke and it will like consistently land here. So yes. Okay, for yeah, no problem. For the hot player, there are a few tips and tricks, I guess. One of them is like, if you want to Molotov hot, a lot of people feel like they have to like land the Molotov inside hot. And sure, it's good to do that because it blocks the rush very early. But I think like it's possible to fail this Molotov. I guess if it fails, it will mostly land here, but sometimes it can even fail on top of hot if you really mess it up. And then, like, it's just really not very good. So I think if you want just a safe hot molo, sometimes it's worth it to just Molotov here on the outside of hot, because it's also a smoke where if the T's turn this off, they are kind of smoking themselves off. Like, if you kill the first, there's no way they can ever get out. If they smoke inside hot, like if the Molo is inside hot, they can kind of smoke over here. And then there would still be a little bit of space in front, or at least there will be more space in front. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of like a safer way of getting a good hot smoke. Like this, for example. Even though it fills up all of hot, all I have to do is get out here for me to kind of not be bothered by the smoke anymore. Another lineup that some people use is, like, as you're going up the ladder, you can come here and you can aim here. And this wall is slanted in a way that it, yeah, I guess, sends the Molotov exactly to hot. It kind of lands the same spot, obviously, depending on how much speed you give it, the further it will go in. But the reason I don't like this one so much, I think it can be pretty nice. But I think the problem is you do this and then your timing kind of misses. Like, if, at least if you're playing at a pro level, you want to be going up, you want to be doing like the Molotov whatever really fast, and then as you're jumping down here, you will want to like turn to dodge flashes and then probably go on top of hot or go down floor or even sit here or whatever. But I think sometimes with that other Molotov, when you go up here and you do this, because you kind of have to have a straight line, I don't think this Molotov... Okay, I guess you can maybe just do it like that then. I guess you can... I guess this Molotov works. I just think it's... This one can also fail if you don't go in a straight line, but it's whatever. Now you know it exists at least. Use the Molotov that you prefer.
It might be a good molly for a retake. Alright.
I get what you mean. And yes, it's not the worst, but I think there are always better Molotovs you can throw. Like, I think I would be more worried about someone being here than someone being inside hot.
Yep.
So if I had a Molotov, I would probably just throw it like in the middle of the side. Or if I would be retaking with many from heaven, I would maybe be Molotoving this, because this is an angle that's basically impossible to clear from heaven. But I get what you mean. I know I had at some point a lineup as well for a smoke. I think it was from here, where maybe it was even like middle of this or something. I had some lineup at least where, yes, it was actually a molo or a smoke that would go in. I guess just middle of the lamp. You will have a Molotov that lands right inside hot, and I think, yeah, this one is safer to do and will be burning more of hot when you throw it. So if you want a Molotov for a retake, I would suggest, like if you want one for hot, I would suggest using this one instead. There's another trick as well. You can do it in 2 different ways, but one way you can do it is, at least as you're coming out here, you can... Oh, I don't know why I did it like that. As you're coming out here, you can like, instead of Molotoving inside hot, you can do it that you Molotov on top of hot. And it will kind of sound for the T's like it's the same. I guess make sure that you Molotov far enough forward in hot that it doesn't burn down. But you can use this to push, and the T's will think that you are, like you just Molotov hot, so they won't be expecting you to push. There was another lineup in CSGO where people would Molotov like that, so it would land behind the door. And what was interesting about this, the way it worked in CSGO at least, was... Okay, my whole game just crashed. That is interesting.
CS2 ready for major.
Yes, I love this game. Yeah, give me just a moment, then we'll get back to it. Yes, okay, we got CS2 up and running again. But basically, the way it worked in CSGO with that Molotov was that you could see the animation of fire coming through the wall, so it for the T's really looked like the Molotov actually landed in hot. I will have to take a look, because I haven't actually played with this Molotov in CS2, but I think it isn't the same. No, there is no fire coming through here. You can see a little bit of smoke though, which might give you the idea that there is a Molotov in hot. Like, if I throw a Molotov on top of hot, there won't be any smoke down here. But if you throw the line up here, you go here and aim up from the middle of the door at this. Like, there will be this kind of smoke, I guess, that you can see. And it will look like there is a hot Molotov. But it is less good in CS2, I guess. So, for door, number 1 tip is definitely always Molotov door. If you're a door player, either Molotov it from heaven or Molotov it from main. This is a super key piece of utility, and if you want to block an A rush, you can do this Molotov, and you can even bounce a nade like that. This one lands on top of hot, bounces here, and lands right here. So if anyone is rushing out of door, I can try to throw it again. This one will land right where they're running out, and the timing matches as well. So that's a really, really cool piece of utility. It's a really small detail, but a lot of the time, I'll blow the door real quick. A lot of the time as a door player, it will be something like you do this, and you go down, you dodge flash, whatever, and now you can see the door Molotov is burning, and you want to smoke door, but you don't want to expose yourself to door in case someone is sitting in there. And I have always been throwing it by aiming on the left side of the door, which is like, it's like only the door frame, it's not much space. And then I would always do it by taking a back step, and this would land good enough that it fills up all of door. But in a moment, when this clears, I will show you a different lineup, which is much easier, and I had no idea it existed, so maybe some of you also don't know. But basically, when the smoke fades, imagine that the Molotov is here, whatever. There is this orange beam, and you can bounce the smoke off of this. So you don't have to expose yourself, you can just see the orange beam, and you can like throw it here in that corner, and it will come back and it will smoke the whole door. So that's a safe and very consistent way of smoking door without having to expose yourself. So that's That's really cool. I am having some issues with my headset, I think. Let me put a cable in. I don't know. I have the weirdest issue lately. I honestly have way too many PC issues. But when I have wireless headset and I'm streaming on Discord, then I can't hear people talking sometimes. So let me just try doing this. And now, can you try to speak?
Yep, can you hear me?
Okay, I might have to set up my audio thing. Can you try to speak now? Yes, now I can hear you. This is such a weird bug. But anyway,
Don't worry.
what were you saying?
Nothing really.
Oh, okay. Well, at least now I can hear you, so that's... I could before my game crashed as well, but now I couldn't. It's very interesting. Okay, for outside, there is this smoke that I showed, like the set lineup. You can also throw this one. And I think just, like, what a lot of people are doing, like the top players, is either they run here, and as they are, like, hitting this, they will aim this height, and on the white part of this thing, and they will, like, throw the deep Molotov like this. Okay, I guess a little bit down. I think I was tracking it a little bit too much. But like that, hopefully. Yes. And this Molotov will land so that if you as a T want to cross this, you kind of have to go through Molotov to some extent. I've even seen people do like this, and then even do like a jump throw nade that lands kind of on the Molotov, so people get slowed, and they are in the Molotov. There's also the option, which I see also top players do, that when you come here, you aim at the bottom of main, and as you're going over this, you slow walk and jump throw. This kind of gives the same result. I guess the Molotov maybe lands a little better. But yeah, here you can still do like that, and then do like a jump throw nade. And it might be actually easier to do it like that. So yeah, that's a cool combo you can try. Yeah, let me see what kind of tips I have. I guess one tip that is kind of nice is that you can aim top of main. And this is like a good nade for the silo player. You can potentially do this with a Molotov as well to like force him back or make him just not hold. I think the Molotov isn't as good, but it's possible. Also from inside A side, you can actually use these windows to flash outside. Not the greatest flashes in the world, but yeah. They can be useful in some cases if you're, for example, wanting to blind the silo player. Then the flash can be quite good. I think I could even throw a better one for the silo. Like if you could probably find a set lineup, something like this, I think would smash the silo player if he's standing up here. So that's pretty cool. What other things can we do? I actually don't think there are so many things. I guess one thing that is really nice to know, if you're doing this aggro smoke and you have a teammate going behind red, if you go in front of here and you aim on this shadow and you do a jump throw, flash. This is a flash that I think is super good because it lands on top of red and bounces at the end, which means anyone who is like at the back will get blind by this flash. And anyone who is close will also be blind, I believe. But it's so smart because the way the flash lands, it doesn't blind your teammate. So it takes basically all angles except your teammate. And that's why that flash I think is a really cool flash. Also for outside, if you go and line up on this, and I think because I haven't full HD it might be difficult, but there are some black dots somewhere. I'm not sure I can see them, but there are black dots somewhere. And if you line up on these, yeah, if I wouldn't playing full HD, it would be easier, but at least there is a lineup. Maybe even you can go from this white line, you can crouch and you can stand up. And if you do it correct, it's a little bit under the white line. and you do jump throw forward, you can do a Molotov that burns out back of main without exposing yourself to anything. You can find a lineup even with the CT Molotov, I'm pretty sure, that burns out this part as well. So, yeah. Suggest that you try that as well. Yeah. I think there are not so many more things on outside specifically. I will talk about a few things that I think could potentially be tricks. I had the thought that maybe there is a lineup. I think even I did find a lineup where... What was it? Oh yeah, if someone would do the Molotov on heaven... Oh, sorry, on hot. And you aim here... No, that was not it. We'll try it again. If someone does the Molotov hot, you can aim here, I guess it is. And this one lands like this. And potentially, if you get the right lineup, it could leave you with like an ability to have this kind of edging gap up here. So you are able to hold door, but you nullify the Molotov on top of CT, like on top of hot. And it gives you, yeah, a lot of cover and a really good angle to hold door. So for any fast door plays, even if they do like this kind of smoke, like the lurk smoke, whatever, you can hold door. And I think this is super interesting, actually. I'm sure there is a lineup you can throw. Maybe you can even do like a standing throw that bounces before the Molotov or something like this. I haven't tested it enough, but there has to be a lineup where this is like consistent and possible. I even thought about doing it here. That might also work. I'm honestly not sure. I actually think I want to test that real quick with you guys. See where the smoke fades. No, that doesn't do a whole lot. So it would have to be something out here. But there is definitely, if you get the right angle, you can get something like this where you won't be burning top hot and you'll be able to hold door as they come out. And I think this is something that could realistically shake up the meta of Nuke. Because it could be easily a thing where the hot player or the AWP would throw a smoke that lands there at the start of most rounds. Like, there will for sure be a consistent lineup for this. It's just about finding it. A cool lineup for Nuke that it doesn't really get used that much, but it's actually possible to Molotov like that. Let me try it again. Maybe like this. Nope. Maybe in between. Okay, let me just do it on feeling. But basically you can Molotov like that, and it will bounce, and especially with the T-Molotov, which is a little bigger, you can Molotov CT vent without actually exposing yourself to anything except main. But it is a little bit tricky. Like, there for sure, again with this, is a good lineup. But yeah, it's pretty nice to know. Also, if you want to, yeah, I guess I'll show some cool smokes. This, by just going here and aiming on this, I guess, and jumping when you hit the window of the car. If I didn't mess it up, because sometimes this one can mess up. This is a fast smoke that lands in front of lockers and smokes it completely. There are some options for CTs though. Like, they can actually go up here on the left and kind of play around the smoke. Depending on how the smoke lands. Also, just be aware of that. There's also the possibility of standing here and aiming. I think it's like kind of in the middle of this thing. And running, and basically as far as you can, I think. Yes. So this one goes into the lockers. And then there's also the possibility of lining these two up. So the blue and this. And aiming here. And running as far as you can. And jump throwing at the end. And this is a smoke that goes inside main so deep that it smokes off main for like an A take. Which is a pretty interesting smoke that I think people don't use very much. I have one trick here as well for secret. It's mostly something that is useful on a retake. But no one has done it before because it's me that found this flash, and I think this will be first time I show it in a video, so if you want you can try it. So a lot of people probably know this flash, where the idea is it lands on top of this, and if you're holding from down here, you get blind. I know some people even found like a set lineup where you were standing like somewhere here or something, and it was bouncing like a lot, and it would land like up here, so it kind of had the same effect but just for short. I'm gonna be honest and say I don't remember how people did it, but there was a lineup for this. Probably it was something about hitting a wall and going back on the pipes or something. But the problem that I've tried to solve is that a lot of the times, professional teams, when they have the B bomb site, they will have this area. And this is actually probably one of the best nuke tips. As a T, who is like a professional, a professional player who's like any given T round, if you get ramp control and you think B is clear, you will always go right side of the hedge, and then you will go here and you will Molotov on the green, and this will come down and it will burn, so that you can't push forward in double, and you also can't like hold the B bomb site. Like you can't deny the bomb plant, you can't do anything because of the Molotov here. And what this does is it gives the T's a chance to take the space for free as well. So most good teams will own this area. And I mean, there's always the chance that while the Molotov is up or something, you can throw this flash or whatever. A lot of people will just cross it, and then they will even smoke this up at the start. And now you really own the area. So then it's up for the CTs to retake it. And the setup that most Ts play is they will either play one guy who is full committed to holding here, or he will be full anti-flash. And then he will be playing someone on an off angle here. So basically, like, if this guy is dodging full, this guy will be holding. And then, you know, if he gets blind, he just runs to the side. This guy turns, he fights, and then this guy can peek with him again. That's the idea of the setup. Alternatively, some people play it where this guy is holding, and this guy is ready to swing. So when this guy gets contact, this guy steps out. And now, basically, you know, it's just it's like a bait and switch kind of. But both of these are kind of setups that make it very difficult to flash them. There is one thing that is kind of interesting though, and that is if this guy is holding and this guy is dodging, if it was me, I would always dodge like this. Because you want to be ready with your crosshair trained in the right position so you can just step out and kill. And so the same kind of, if you're standing here, like you will want to dodge the flash, but in that case this guy is standing like this. So basically what I found was, if you go into this pillar and you aim in the middle of the green like this, you get a flash that lands all the way in this corner, so that if this guy is the one holding, obviously he gets full blinded. If this guy is holding, obviously he's getting full blinded. But in the case that this guy is holding and this guy is standing like this, now they are both getting blind. And what is super cool about this flash is that as a CT, I'm able to actually swing really far with this flash, exactly because it pops behind the corner. So, like, if my flash would land here, I would have to basically dodge it like this. But because the flash is behind this tiny corner, it means I can actually peek very far out before I'm getting blind by this. I think now I'll get blind. Okay, still not. Holy shit. This flash was better than I thought. Yes. Yeah, I think personally it's a really good flash. There's no pro team in the world, no player doing this, because it's one I found myself. I found it a couple of years ago. Never really had a chance to bust it out in a match, but I've obviously taught it to my team, and now I'll teach it to you. But the idea of this flash is just that, you know, this guy holding this will have to decide if he wants to, like, eat the flash, so basically keep holding and get blinded, or if he wants to dodge it. But because it lands so far to the left, for him to dodge it, he really needs to go out of his way to dodge it. And if this guy's anti-flash, and this guy has to go and really far dodge the flash, or has to be here full blinded, it's like much easier for the CT to swing and destroy this setup. So while it seems like a small difference, I just think some people are throwing this flash, and I mean, this flash, it just won't give you the same, because like, you will have to be behind it, like hiding behind a wall. The flash doesn't go as far out, and then you will have to swing when the flash has popped. And that's when the setup, like, of the bait and switch, the flash pops now, and now I turn, right? But with this flash, as a CT, it's like I can peek, oh sorry, it's like I can peek with the flash, so that is a really, really cool trick, in my opinion, and one that pro teams don't know about. And now I've messed up the lineup, but it is not so tricky. You can try it out for yourself anyway. Let's see. Hopefully I did it correct this time. Yeah. So this is like a flash that in a pro Nuke game I could see being used like 2 times per match potentially. This kind of retake does happen. Okay, maybe not 2 times per match, but at least every match or every other match, this flash would have use in at least 1 round. And I think, yeah, not enough people are aware that this flash exists, because basically no one has done it, I think. Yeah, any questions, guys?
Did you show like any smoke from garage, for garage?
I didn't, but I can. So you can go up here and go all the way out on this and aim here on the dot while crouched. Actually, you have to aim slightly above the dot, I think. While crouched. And this should be... This was the one you threw in CSGO. There is the issue with it, like it does block off garage, but with this smoke they can go in front. And that's, you know, not so good. We practiced against the team on Nuke today, which did the smoke like this instead. So you allowed, like, they allowed us to go into these corners, but we couldn't really use them for much, basically. But it's also a possibility that you do the smoke here on the back of it, and then you don't allow people to go to the corners, but then it's also the smoke is so deep that if someone wanted to, they could, you know, late round get a flash and walk into here. So it's really about what you prefer. You can do this in the middle, in the front, or in the back, but yeah, they all work. But the lineup that I know and I used in CSGO is this one. But I'm sure you can adjust it slightly if you want. If you specifically want the one in the front or in the back or whatever. So, yeah, I hope that helps.
Yep.
Any other questions, guys? Okay. Yeah, no.
Like
Yeah.
how should like you play secret? Like if they are pushing, or like if they are red box or something.
So if the T's are out here?
Yep. Do you think like you need a teammate, or just you have to go and kill everybody?
It really depends, because if the T's have like a wall of smokes, for example, then playing secret by playing playing here or something, and like you can play these angles with AWP or with rifle, or you can play like jiggling with a Molotov or whatever. But if you know there is no wall of smokes, you can always get a flash from like a teammate over, and you can use this to check behind that. So it really depends on situation. Like I think it's a much bigger question than you would think.
Yep. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but it's definitely something we can go more in depth with in another session. Otherwise, I have a CT-sided Nuke video already where I go, I think, a little bit more in detail about how you can do that. Maybe I don't, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll just check it like later.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'll be happy to help. We can definitely talk about that in a future session, but I think it's not something we should talk about at this moment, because
Yep. Like that's more like a strategy than any tips or tricks.
yeah, exactly, that's the thing. It's a much bigger thing. Um, yeah, guys, I've said it already, and I've said it. I said it before the session and everything. I have to get up quite early tomorrow, so I think now I had some PC issues as well that took a little bit. So I think I'll end the session here. But obviously, if you have any questions, you're always free to write me on Discord as a part of the Gosu Academy, and also yeah, if you have any questions for next time, then just ask away. I'm always available for this type of thing during the sessions, especially. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and yeah, thank you for joining the session as well.